All right, there we go. Check, mic check. Good, everything's secure. Why wasn't Gal? I'm trying to sleep. Well, go to bed. Come on. Not forcing you to stay awake. Priorities. You know, immediately. Of course, I rush over, says Vesper. Hello, love. Just a little under 2 hours until you get to go home, huh? Hello? I wonder if the music's too loud. I think it is. Damn, Gab, I gotta go to sleep. Oh well. Gotta give others a chance with a time slot after all. Hold on, I'm trying to shrink my Spotify. Come on, have a fun stream. I'll see you around, Reem. There we go. Finally, I was able to shrink it. I had a feeling you were gonna stream tonight. Of course, I have to. Did you know today I got double charged by my bank? Ray, transactional error. It's something in their system. Hmm. So I'm kind of in the red. It's bad, chat. I thought you weren't live tonight. Oh, but I am. It's Monday. It's Monday, 5:17 a.m. I did say I'm coming back Monday, right? I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just passing by says Prismarine Studios. I hope you have a good stream. Hi. You have a very professional sounding alias. Driver says you actually caught me on my way home. But who cares if I see you in public transport or rush hour? Hi there, fellow commuters. Why, it isn't Marbles the Bat? Here to grace me with your presence. Sijuari says hi. I'm just passing by and was a little interested. How is yapping going so far? Well, we're 3 minutes and a half in. Not much yapping has occurred yet. Wow, 1440p. I had it disabled last year because I was trying something. Streaming in 1080p didn't solve my hiccup, so I might as well go back to the high fidelity one. Oh, you caught the stream early this time. I see. Did I say thank you to you, Warp Weaver? Yet means there's a lot usually. A lot of what? The thought kind of just floated past my head. A Moster Flat says, hello, first time viewer. I've seen clips on social media but never live. Do you have a schedule or just whenever in the mood? I roughly follow a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. I always aim to stream at around 3 a.m. plus 8 GMT. So that's a little past lunch for the Americans. For the Americans, I stream on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Of course, Uchi is here. Laxiano Sargenti. Wow, what a name. How tall are you? Here we go. 6'1", chat. Right off the bat, we have a lot of fellow viewers. Hello, everyone. Zoom back. Ah, yes. Gab is slouching on the chair again. Let's see if the views work. Yep. That's me, Chan. How are you today? There's that. There's that. I'm okay. Just a little hiccup with the bank, but nothing like you know, nothing unmanageable. Oh yeah. This location reminds me of Outer Wilds a little bit because it's probably inspired from the game, given the aesthetic of the place. Good night, Luxianos. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, that's really. What is with people redeeming the stretches so early on? I just started. Yeah, your Discord link doesn't work anymore. My goodness, really? Maybe I need to work on a permanent link. It's my server in boost level 3. That's when I can have a permanent link. It keeps on fluctuating, really. Nah, I'm only in level 2, unfortunately. 9 out of 14 boosts. Not quite enough to have a permanent URL. But what I can do is copy this. It's been a week, huh? Here you go. Pasting it in 3, 2, 1. That is the Discord link. You should be able to join now. Wyverns and cones. This is my first time in your lives. It's very peaceful. Because that's how things usually are. I just sit, talk. We keep each other company. I'm off to sleep too, says Pound and Victory. All right. How much did it cost you in the model and the rigging? Maybe 5,000 pesos per chance. 555. Did you get a haircut or something? No, my hair is still very much the same. How's life been? A few days ago, I got hit with a financial situation that, like, essentially halved my savings. And then last night, I got hit with another financial situation. My drawing tablet died, my extra screen. That's a $600 expenditure. So I paid, okay, fine. Let's use the rest of my little savings. And you know what happened? The bank charged me double. And now I am like in the red. It's really bad, Chad. That's why I'm live. And yeah, they said it's gonna be processing after a few days. But guess what, Chad? It's election tomorrow. Well, actually today, and there's some money freeze when it comes to transferring things in the bank. So I don't know if or when they're going to return the double charge that they've done to me. And yeah, there's that. Oh my. How much do you need then for the motorcycle? Now? Oh my god. I just lost like 4 digits worth. A lot, a lot. We're looking at like, Goodness me. 5K? Oh my goodness. Yet. They say. Shit happens, Jack. Budget-friendly tablets. I always go for Huyons or XP pens. But given that my Huion just died yesterday, it's an artist canvas 22 plus. I bought it around 2 or 3 years ago. Uh, it died. Motherboard failure. Or whatever. Mainboard thing. I've read that it's apparently a recurring issue in that particular line. That's unfortunate. Let's hope for a Lanterfist comes by. He's probably on a private jet plane to the Bahamas or something. I don't think he's the kind of person we should be disturbing. Besides, I am but a drop of water in an ocean of streamers. He's already graced me twice. Why if it isn't cat? Catity cat that graced Kajane. Hi there. Hope you're doing okay. You gonna stream soon? As long as you don't go back to the streets, everything will be fine. That's true, isn't it? What's cooking? Good looking. Wow. What's cooking is my wallet, Can. I got double charged. I just lost $1,400. Stupid system. And I don't think I'll be getting that back in like a week. The bad thing is I actually have to pay for something this week. So I'm a bit of a financial pinch. But yeah, aside from that, I'm okay. What's important is one's health, one's roof, one's water, one's food. But my troubles are nothing compared to yours. They pale in comparison, so I'm not really one to complain. That's like 50K. Oh yeah, I lost 75K in PHP. Well, it's actually 35 times 2, so it's 70. But it's still a big amount all the same. Here, have some help with that. Moral Heart though, thank you so much for the sub. No, I'm reading. It helps a lot. At least you're that drop of mineralized waters as driver. Your goal gives. Is it bad to eat computer RAM that is naughty stuff? That depends. That's what we call spicy RAM. Heads or tails, please, Gib. Well, Rayo, why not? So, do you have a wager, perchance? Do you have something to put on the line to make things interesting? How much should all of your face tracking cost? I bought the Quest Pro SRP. That was like, now you can get it for $800 or $900. But for the face tracking add-on, I didn't pay anything. It came default with the avatar. The avatar I got for $50. But, but, the blend shapes, the eyebrows, the eyeliners, a bunch of other things. Little tweaks and knickknacks. I myself did it over at the Blender. So you can say that this is essentially a customized thing I have. Low moles. What's your favorite thing? Money. I lose, I have to sub. And if you win, Rayo, by the nine. Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody steals under my watch. Enhanced VR chat experience seems expensive as heck, says driver. You know what? That's true. This hobby, this game isn't cheap at all. No way, not even close. How do you get your avatar so realistic? That's ironic. I actually have very cartoonish proportions and an art style. Also, Demon Girl, I see what you're doing. Thank you for the roses. I think you're pertaining to like the movements that you're seeing. I customized settings, that's for sure. I wasn't really happy with any of off the shelf offerings that they had for this particular base. So I did a bunch of tweaks, shape keys in particular in Blender, along with press holds and other tweakings in Unity. Ray says if I win bragging rights. Alright, Rayo. Heads or tails? No, 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 no. Love or doom? Take your pick. Love or doom, love or death? Which sounds cooler? I think death. Love or death? That's the two sides of the coin we have. Doom. Alright, and so we flip 3, 2, 1. The coin's too dark to tell from here. What could it be? Oh my. Looks like you win this round, Ryo. It's Doom. Congratulations. Thanks, humanity. Let me guess, your favorite tank is the Leopard. You know, for a time it was. The Leopard won. Colombia. Vesper says definitely not cheap when my whole setup is around 3,000. But over time, that's for sure. So yeah, I got double charged. My savings got half, more than half actually. And my fight, ooh, I definitely need to hustle harder, that's for sure. Really tight. What's this? How long have you been a furry, Gab? A furry? When did Digimon Tamers come out? Probably then. Face tracking. Yeah, of course. Does it not seem that way? Speed 0. Man. 2001, huh? Then I guess a little over 24 years. Oh, okay. I've been clipping into the chair. Do you have a fursuit? Are you planning on getting one? No. Let's hope that the subscription service that you've been working on gives you a push in your balance. I will start hard pushing for it starting tomorrow. I'll be recording again. I need to get that launch this month. By the way, chat, May is also my birth month. Fourth week of May. Man, I wonder what cake I'm gonna have. I even want cake. It's nothing but sugar. Exacerbate my potential diabetes. I don't want to be like these old people that have like troubles with their blood sugar. Definitely not. 100% not. You should get red velvet cake. One of my favorite flavors, actually. VRC Avatar works as a fursuit already. You know what? Uchi makes a good point. This probably counts as my suit, but it's just digital. Happy early birthday, Sasiori. Thanks. Keeping the hobby digital. I'm not ashamed of the hobby or anything. I actually don't hide anything IRL. It's just that I enjoy the concept of quote unquote suiting more digitally. There's just so much limitations the IRL ones has. You look stiff in comparison to like what you're seeing now. Marble says, I'm gonna sleep because I can't sleep for 2 days. Been busy. Good luck with streaming. Good luck with y'all. Thank you for dropping by, Marbles. Sweet dreams. Look at these two being lovey-dovey in my chat of all places. Maybe I should start charging for rent when it comes to couples. Imagine wearing a fursuit in the weather in the Philippines. Right? Impractical. I mean, kudos to the ones that actually push for the hobby, but it's definitely not for me. The logistical issue and well, the comfort issue. If wearing my motorcycle jacket, pants, armor, boots, helmet, gloves is already taxing enough when it comes to your temperature management, I can't imagine a full blown suit. 25th, so if you're in the US, the 24th of May. Ice cream game. Why do I have a feeling that the chat windows are rather short? There we go. Let's drag it all the way to the bottom. Just had to hop in and say I love your voice. Why? Thank you, Jelly. Closest I'll ever get is the VR chat persona I have, says Vesper. I once almost bought a partial fursuit, but I lost the opportunity, so instead I made a character inspired by it. Hey, you're chatting with your fursuit maker right here. Well, more of an assembler. How we just get the raw materials and customize it to your liking. Oh, Code says, you look a little strange for some reason when the camera moves and you face it head on, because I usually only see it in some diagonal angle. You're just not used to me like looking at you straight on. I have a I actually have close to a human like face. Not quite. Most furries have larger snouts, longer ones. They have like the iconic nose, the little inverted triangle. Not me. Chad, I'm what people call a smooth skin. I don't have fur. How long have you been doing VR chat streaming? Asked Buster. Well, I believe March of last year. So that's around 13 months now. Funny, I started VTubing during the first month or so of me going live. Usual corner of your screen avatar, playing a 2D game. Didn't do so well. Yeah, boss, can you see my chat as star? Yes. Why? Toshi Momo says, I love every bit of this. The voice down to the avatar. Thanks. I'm nothing special though. Either Ethan. Do you think you'll ever stream in other formats? Not really. Look, the amount of VTubers out there that just play games, they're a dime a dozen. I'm not discounting their worth by any means, but it's definitely a saturated space. Besides, I'm more comfortable doing this, sitting by the fire, chatting with you. That's comfortable. We keep each other company. This is how just chatting stream should be, chat. It's as if you're here, part of this whole scene. Uchi says, I guess I have to proceed at night alone now. Oh, where are you going? Yumaru says this type of streaming is also saturated. Way less saturated though, trust me. Most are just dancing and screaming. If you go over to the VR chat channel, well, the category at least, over at Twitch, you're gonna see a vast majority of streamers are just playing their hips with very little clothing. But yeah, not me, chat. VR chat can be used for so much more. So much more. I'm just going back to like its roots on what it's supposed to be. You are planted in a environment that is virtual reality. Quite frankly, it's hard to describe the experience if you haven't seen it through a VR headset. I fix my pins. Yeah. What's this? Do you mind me asking what age you'll be turning later this month? The same age I was last year, 27. And 10 years prior, 27. And the year after today, I'll still be 27. Anubis says it takes a creative person to use it in a different way. I. In the back of my head, I always, still ask myself, Aren't I essentially boring? A coin flip would be perfect for an ultra kill, that's true. Thank you, Yo-Yo Boy. Hmm. Ivan says, imagine you, Mecha, Vesper, Mystic, and Axiom sitting there telling scary stories and having fun. You know, that's the funny thing. After stream, usually I get together with these exact people and we hang out for like 3 hours or more. And yeah, you're just back. That's true. Either Shadow. I could be better. This is probably one of my lows, in all honesty. Not health wise or emotionally wise, but financial wise. I'm not doing great. That's why, for once on TikTok chat, it's not a fundraiser or anything, but I'm very honest with the little goal above. Ooh, wow, snagged. Hmm. This is calming, says Dr. Nightingale. It's not boring, in my opinion. Thanks. Ah, same compliment. That's really nice by Veridian Denial. Firehawk says, hi Geb, me and my friend are struggling with DaVinci Resolve being a pain in the butt currently. I don't use DaVinci Resolve, so I'm not sure I can offer much insight to your troubles. Can I purchase that coin on Gumroad? Yes, it's made by the fantastic Lindy. Bosser says, I've seldom seen these kinds of calm, scenic talking streams. I admit that I'm not a big stream watcher and perhaps not the target audience when it comes to VR chatter, furry, etc. But this is nice and I'm happy. I hope it's not fappy. I found it. That would be an entirely different context. Thank you, Shadow. Mama Skittles. Sub Sound. Shimaru. Maddie. Oh, you're in that world. Yeah, yeah, I am. It's pretty calming. It's nice. Kind of matches the mood. Well, you look at that. Geb is can't afford to be in the city anymore because he's broke as heck. So he's out camping in the outskirts of it. The forest. Goodness me. What am I gonna do? Nice and warm, Chad. Warm. Why, if it isn't Exodus, are you the Exodus from TikTok? The friend of Esper? I forgot to mention it to her. My apologies. You wager against a coin again. Well, that's entirely up to you. Do you want to? Loki, this is unnecessarily attractive, says Angel King. Yeah. The watch asset is set by your own design. Clever idea using dots for time. Oh no, actually, you can find this in Gumroad. I figured they wanted a more analog option. It's so analog, it's made of Nixie tubes. Yeah, but another flip. Sure. Code says, you mentioned you're using a Quest Pro at the moment. What headset did you start out with? The Quest Pro. This is my first headset. You know what's ironic? I bought this headset a couple of months before even starting VR chat. It was just sitting in my box, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy it because I'm curious what VR is like, and then I loaded up like a roller coaster video. That made me motion sick for a few days. Mm-mm. Yeah, but if you could exchange your IRL body for your avatar, would you? Yeah, sure, why not? Both are equally handsome anyway. Whenever you're ready. Well, Raya, are you picking the same side? They're sticking with death. Love this time. I see. Okay. Hmm. Right. Let's play a second round, shall we? Love for Raya. Death for me. So we flip. Ah, let's see what it done and all. Oh my. Look at you on a lucky streak. It seems you've won again, Ryo. If only my old regular players would be here right now. They have terrible odds. They have an 8% chance of winning, based on the statistics of one of them. I can't tell if you see my chats or not, says Mama Skittles. I see it. What's this? The background music is so good, especially combined with the overall vibe. Yeah, I'm just just here outside. Quick peek because I woke up at 1 a.m. Work starts tomorrow. I should really rest. Loving the campsite. Hi there, Fiel. Yeah, you have a 70% win rate. Astounding. Is this a Quest Pro? No, it's purely Quest Pro tracking. I don't have a Babel tracker. See, don't underestimate your Quest Pro, Chan, says the guy who underestimates his Quest Pro. Is VR chat usable without a VR headset? Curiously asked Bolster. With mouse and keyboard, is it good anyway? Yeah, of course. You can play it in desktop. It's worth it because it's free. You have nothing to lose. Hello, Star. Your Discord link is expired. Fine, let me go update it. Alright, TikTok. Let's go edit it. So we're gonna replace the old Discord link. Control V. Apply. There you go, TikTok. My Discord link has been updated. Are my comments coming through? It seems a bunch of TikTok viewers are having trouble with TikTok's auto filtering. I can't blame the system, chat. They're very, very strict when it comes to the things you can say and pass, along as a typable message. I don't normally watch TikTok lives as sub, but this is my exception. Perfect for winding down. Thanks and welcome to the stream. Stare at the guy who's in the middle of God knows where. And finally, I'm home, Mrs. Driver. Couldn't afford another minute of Twitch obliterating my mobile data. Uh, Hi, can I ask? Go ahead if you have a question. What is it? My tail keeps on swishing around. Okay, tail. There, you go. Stay in between my legs. Campfire really adds to the coziness. At least there's no robots trying to go through, unlike before. That's true. It's the story behind this avatar. Cyberpunk, Miku, something else. Nothing fancy. Cyberpunk, not really. There's barely any technology on me, aside from my timekeeper. A bit anomalous, sure, but I wouldn't call it on any scale of advanced, really. Me? Think of me as a guy who's been employed to go investigate strange things, strange places, strange beings. What's the pencil pusher? Now I'm out on the field to push pencils once I get back. Oh, Gab, write the report on this. Oh, Gab, what did you see in this anomalous door? Oh, Gab, you look a little different after going to XYZ. Yes. Driver says, for your birthday, would you rather receive plain money or money on throne? I would rather receive plain money! Exclamation point tip, everyone. Why it's a universal form that I can. It's very flexible. Think about it this way, Chad. If you give somebody on their birthday or on Christmas money, I don't get why people complain. Ooh, it's so bland of a gift. No, it's the point is you give them the freedom, the malleability to purchase what they want. I think the only thing worth more than money, in all honesty, when it comes to plucking my heartstrings, is a handwritten card. Because those are things I'm gonna treasure forever. Dear Gab, Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well. We don't see each other much anymore. But know that I still see you in my heart with every single day. We've been pals since we were kids. And I think we're gonna be pals until even when we're not on this planet anymore. Yeah, anyway, I'm running out of card space to write on, so I'm gonna keep it brief. I hope you're doing great, and let's catch up on some barbecue sometime. Again, happy holidays. Signed, your friend. It's these silly little things that are most meaningful to me. When did you say your birthday was? On the 25th of this month, Anubis. A handwritten card with money inside. P.S. Here, take $1,000, Gib. I'm sure you're gonna grin ear to ear. And I take the hand like $1,000 like inside the card and I'm like, my man, you still know me. What's this? Why is your voice so smooth? Because I, unlike most other people, actually like to remain calm whenever possible. Whenever possible. Not say I can do it perfectly, but I tend to veer away from the ADHD kind of content. Ochi says, it's more common to see that headsetters use PC VR variants for playing VR games such as VR chat, because such a way you just combine PC and VR powers. Yeah. Did you know that Vesper used to be a Questie, as they call it? She had the Quest 2 and would just use the Quest 2's internal systems to play VR chat. VR chat on Quest is a very watered down version. Trust me, very watered down. This. This is PC VR. You use a headset and you leverage your computer's power to present VR chat in maximum fidelity. Best graphics, best resolution, high FPS. You see, here's the thing. If you go to Throne, it's gonna take a couple of days before it reaches me. If you type exclamation point tip though on Twitch, I get it instantly. Think of it as serving food nice and hot instead of having it delivered to you in a couple of days. I do PCVR with the Quest 2, says Greystorm Axel. I see. Just calibrate real quick. Put that here. Cross my leggies. Yeah. Thank you, Angel Paws. Haha. 1,000 euros in a card. Could you imagine? That's actually not so far fetched. I'll see you, Eli. I hope you have good luck with whatever you're doing. Hey, Geb, I have a busy week, says Forgotten Angel. Preventing me from watching your streams. How are you doing? I could be better, that's for sure. The clipping to the damn chair. Move forward a bit. There we go. How do I get the streamer's address? You don't. That's the thing. The only people who know my address, well, the only person who does, are three of them. People I actually trust. If you really want to support me by sending me something, you can go to my throne, or you can type out exclamation point tip. Oh, it's bad life advice. Sorry, I didn't see that. The darn campfire in front of me was obscuring that text. So, how do I get the streamers to send them something? Bad Life Advice Edition? It's simple. Especially when the streamer is a girl, cute anime girl and everything. Asymmetric VTuber design. You go record the voicemail because voicemails are always more personal. And then you send it in their DMs. You breathe heavy. I really like your content. Yeah, you do that, and then 100% they're gonna give you their address. I see he's also live on Twitch. Yes, Mickey. Where are you from? I'm from the Philippines. Raya says, is it smart to keep betting on the coin? Bad life advice. Absolutely not. AKA, you should actually keep on betting on the coin. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Ano oras na ba? Alas 6. Sumikat na siguro yung araw. Mainit na naman. Life savings all on black. Are you going to wager, Jack? We'll continue to bet on the coin. Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Sure. Here, uncropped. Yes, sis, I gotta sleep as much as I want just to hang around and stare. And as much as I want to hang around and stare into the fire. Have a nice one, Gib and Chan. Bye. Can we do the next one at exactly 11 minutes past? Why? Believe me, I really want to support Geb too. Chat, I appreciate it. But again, listen to me. If supporting me is something beyond your means, please always think of yourself first. I'm never going to demand or ask for money. I'm gonna say how much I love money, but I'm not gonna impose upon you. Ah, okay. 11:11, huh? I mean, Angel says I have forgotten something important involving sports tomorrow, but I have a jazz band in the morning at 6:45 for my time. That I have to go, but don't want to. Should I go to jazz band or not? Oh, you already have your answer. You don't want to go. Listen to your gut. Trevor says no, it's exactly because you don't ask or beg. The reason why I would give you my kidney, please, no organs, I'm okay. I don't think they'd even be compatible with my body anyway. No, it's exactly because you don't. Yeah, 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 thanks. Gabe is it. Always trust your gut. That mechanism is there for a reason. What's this? hmm. ASMR channel on YouTube would do numbers, says Joel. Don't worry, I'll be launching my book reading thing. It's gonna be funny, probably. What's this? What was the thing I was reading? How about I give you guys a small sample? Come on, Firefox, work with me here. Let's go here. So one of the things I read was from Edgar Allan Poe. Did it close? What's the thing I was reading? Loss of Breath, A Tale of La Black, L.A. Black. What? What's this? Let's see. Loading it on the side. Maybe on the right. Hmm. Hand track. Oh no. I think my controller just bugged again. The most notorious ill fortune must, in the end, yield to the untiring courage of philosophy. As the most stubborn city to the ceaseless vigilance of an enemy, Salmanneser, as we have it in the holy writings, lay 3 years before Samaria, yet it fell. Sardana Palace, see Diodorus, maintained himself even in, what's this, Nineveh, but no purpose. Troy expired at the close of the second lustrum, and Azot, as Aristeus declares upon his honor as a gentleman, opened at last her gates to Basamaticus after having borrowed them for the fifth part of a century. Hmm, something like that. Not chat? Guess what? Anyway, where were we? Oh, there goes my right hand, Jen. Poe is actually one of my favorite poets. Firehawk says, there are some people that for me, even if I had just met them, I'd trust them with almost anything. And Gab, you're unironically one of those people. Oh, I'm flattered, thank you. Hi there, 4K. Okay, I'm sure. The reading video sounds promising. I enjoyed this apple. Hey, we got the approval. Nice. Okay, because my right hand is crippled again by my funny controller. Let's go flip using my left. Alright, Ryo. Love her that. Pink. Doom. Oh my. The coin is. And you win third time in a row. Congratulations. I'll see you, Nightingale. Oh yeah, Bean, thank you, by the way. I appreciate it. Good morning, Kuya Gib. Vote wisely today. I'm not voting. I'm not dirtying my hands in politics. It seems Bean is constantly throwing little bundles of roses my way. Thanks. Wow, what is this? I like this track. Origin of the World. Hi there, Fast Bear. Vodka. This country is lost, John. I don't give a crap anymore. What's this? You made it back on my FYP. Welcome back, Skittles. Axiom says, oh my god, I'm dumb. You're streaming. Are you online? I didn't see anything, Axiom. That's a weird thing. 4K and codes. If you're gonna talk about another streamer, I suggest taking it to DMs. What are your pronouns? Isn't it obvious? I've been born a guy, I walk like a guy, talk like a guy, and I like the ladies. Yep. Good old classic guy. He. I'm saved. Did you want to hang out after stream action? Sure. Do you have a reference sheet or so on for artists? Skittles, you have to go to my Twitter, my Discord, or my Instagram. I think I have it in my Discord. 100% it's there. If you look closely here, that is actually my Discord link. You're welcome to join. Knight says, I'm only he because I could never be him. Wow. I have to go, Gab. I must continue and work. I'll see you around, Angel. Thanks for dropping by. Hi, Gabos and chat. Have a nice stream. Thanks. What are you doing? Enjoying my time by the campfire. It seems my arm has fallen asleep. As you can see, I cannot move it. The right one. Oh, no, 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 Uchi. No empty wagers here. I am up for your bet. But if I win, I must get something. Or what is a bet if both bettors do not bet? It is nothing but a threat. Jeb says, not gonna lie, you are the first streamer of this kind I watch and I love the vibe. Thanks. Also you too, Chia. Love. I don't know. That's Raya over here. Wish to cover for Uchi instead, in case I win. Remember, if Uchi wins, I put on my goggles for 10 minutes on stream. But if I win, I wonder what I can get. What time is it for you guys right now? It's 6:16 a.m. The sun is nice and high up in the sky, basking us with its morning glow. I sub. Alright. Uchi, what can you put on the line? It's simple. You multiply the amount of coins I have. Come on, make up your mind. Tell me when you're ready to flip. Let's play the little game that you want. Answer my controller to glitch. Okay. It's midnight for glitch. That's the opposite for Christian, who's at 6:17 p.m. I see. Well, come on. Well, got off VR again. I just. Oh no, Axiom. Goodness. Maybe you're just tired from, from. Oh my goodness, it's so hard to align. From your little visit to the city, and then just go rest. It's okay. Looks like I won't be hanging around VR chat after stream today, chat. EDF. Sounds like a good plan, actually. Alright, well, come on, Ryo. Love or dead. Pick your side. Okay. Land. Let's see if the odds favor you a fourth time. This is for Uchi now. Hmm. Oh my. What do you think it landed on? Come on, take a guess. It seems like luck is only with Ryo, not with Uchi. Consider it losing by proxy per chance. All right, Vesper needs to sleep today. That's true. Vesper's very tired, so it's gonna be you and me first, Axiom. Vesper, go now. I know you want to see me with goggles. Sure. Here. Consolation prize. You can just vaguely make out my eyes, right? At least you know how it looks. Morning, Gib. Are you voting? Never have and never will. Freya, you lost. It landed on that. Vesper says after my shift, I just shower and then nap. I can stay up late since it's finals week. I don't have finals on Monday. Yeah, that's the plan. Probably gonna hop off VR chat, maybe hang out in Discord for a little bit after stream. And then wake up. I can enjoy some Baldur's Gate 3 with Vesper. Firehawk says, is it rude if I say I prefer the goggles on your head and not over your eyes? There's a reason they only just stay up there most of the time. Yeah, I feel like her avatar would smell minty. That's true. There we go. Thank you, Raya. Deal's a deal. I appreciate it. This is so strange. I don't have a right hand to stream. Oh well. You're the first streamer I've ever subbed to. Congrats on losing your subgenity, Raya. And with me, of all people. I'm sadly going to have to sleep now, says Codes. So bye, everyone, and bye, Gap. Bye. Is the Discord only for Twitch subscribers? No, no, it isn't. It's open for everybody, as long as you're 18 or above. What's the password in Discord? Use your eyes, my friend. That's right there in the handbook, right under your nose. It's not my trackers that died, it's my right controller. Here, have a look. You see my hand? It's malfunctioning. It doesn't move up, down, left, or right. It doesn't rotate either. So it's just stuck there, like this. I only have my left arm today, chat. Ah, unfortunate. Oh well. Thank you, Rain. Hi, Himari. Have you been working on making the watch functional? I remember you hearing talking about it on the reel. It's not really. Doesn't matter. Blitz says I was struggling for a second, but I got the password. If my dumb butt can do it, you can do it too. Also, congrats on getting access to the emotes. Bro got right paralyzed. Hello. Nope, my right arm just fell asleep and I cannot lift it. It shouldn't affect the stream too much. At least it isn't stuck like this, like in an odd position in space. I wonder where's Mystic. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Chat the invite. I bring out my keyboard. Here you go, chat. This is the updated Discord link. Enjoy. Did I just walk into a 1950s jazz club? Hi. Welcome. I'm Gebus. I sit around, I chat. We keep each other company. Very simple, right? No, brain rot here. No swaying e-girls. No, no. No ADHD soundboards either. Just me. The ambience environment. Maybe a story or two. Hmm. Yes, Uchi, I have a number. What's this? Vesper says, yeah, normally that's only an issue for me when first booting my headset up. No tracking. It loses connection. I place it on the charger, pick it back up, and when it lights up and spam the buttons to wake it back up. Here's the thing. If I put my hand on like my controller on the charger, I risk it being stuck in an even more odd position. Like like in the middle of the air. As much as I want to try. Hey Geb, I hope your day is going okay. Thanks, VR gamer. What's this? It's definitely the voice for me, says Puppy Fang. I'm swooning. Swooning? Oh my. Nothing special about me, though. Oh, you're certain. I got in and I got the password first try. See, Exodus got it. I don't understand how some people can't get it in like less than 5 minutes. I'm talking about my Discord chat. If you join my Discord, there's actually a password that you have to look for. It's somewhere in the rule book. It's to make sure that you actually read the rules before wanting to commit to being part of the community. So many people skimp over this thing. It makes me wonder why they even joined in the first place. How do you prove to Discord you're 18? It's an honor system. I don't want to be the server owner who asks for ID because I don't want to be responsible if you like have a breach of data. Besides, in my server, there's no NSFW content of any sort, chat. I'm not that kind of content creator. It's just that I don't want to deal with kids, period. That's why it's 18 plus only. Ugh, it's tiring. Really? How does it feel like having full body and face tracking? Well, immersed, that's for sure. I don't feel like I'm a mannequin anymore when I'm in game. I actually feel like me. Me. It translates my movements, my expressions, the little nuances, the subtle body movements, you know, the language of movement to the other players. It's as organic as possible, the interactions. I have to wait a year and 2 months. Okay, Ray. I'll see you in a year and 2 months then. You seem like a good person anyway. Uchi's asking, are you familiar with card games such as Magic? I used to play Magic with my boss at my old work. He would always have this strategy where he would what card was that? The Pit Fiends? It was like dogs, like hellhounds or something. The Kiln Fiends. Yeah, Kiln Fiends. It was dumb. He would have Fireball and Kiln Fiends in his deck, and he would just spat. Each time he cast Fireball, the Kiln Fiends would grow in power, and it was just an endless loop. And I died. I couldn't win. I was playing a nature deck, I think. I don't know. He just gave me extra cards. He said, "Let's go sneak to the break room and play some games." It was super cool. One of the things I miss about working in my old work. Why, if it isn't Matthew? Hi there. As long as you follow the rules, Glitch, then we won't have any problems. What languages do I speak? Tagalog and English. Thank you, Devin. Thoughts on strawberry cheesecake? As long as it has cheese in the cake, I'm game. Hello, leaners. Listens. Glitch says, I wish any avatar would feel like me, but I can't find that many male ones who aren't like e-boys or ridiculously muscular. I have a cat Avi I like now, though. Just struggling to find non-boring human male ones. Oh my goodness. Finding a proper male human avatar truly is a challenge. But if I remember correctly, there is one avatar that just released, I think a month ago, who could swap between a good, decent looking human and being like a furry at the same time. It had a toggle. One avatar, two faces. Quite amazing actually. Yeah, very interesting, boss. Not gonna stay, bosses, Matthew. I have to work in the morning, so have a nice dream. Read Vesper in action for me. They're in chat. Good night. I'll see you around, Matt. Are you carnivorous or vegan? I'm an omnivore. I eat pretty much anything. Hmm. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow on Wednesday, this record. I really need to get that going. Gosh, so, so much to read. Well, that's the nature of the term, glitch. Your quality always amazes me, says Zach the hell out. It's so good. Thanks. Tyrell says, when, if ever, you're going to start streaming in the afternoon again? Which is the night for me. It depends. I'm actually pretty set with my sleeping schedule right now. You'll know when you know. It's hard to make promises. I can say that I'm gonna stream on the afternoon Wednesday, but then by afternoon Plagued by the plagued by the sleepiness, and I need to take a nap. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Okay. Vesper, I talked to the Exodus you did know, the one on TikTok. He confirmed that he knows you and your friends. I don't know, Rain. I only really see marriage as a legal requirement for things. Never really something to use as a measure for love with anybody. Could you wish me good luck on my match tomorrow? I feel like your streams give me good luck. Good luck. I'm sure you got this. It's just numbers. With the alphabet sprinkled in, probably. Surely nothing unsolvable for somebody as capable as you. Hey, stranger. Wow, eyes are itchy. Firehawk says, that's fair. I just have FOMO to your streams. Chat, did you know I actually upload all my VODs at that funny red site? So if ever you feel like you're missing my streams, just tune into that place and you will be guaranteed to have at least 2 or 3 streams there per week. The recordings, at least. It's a tube that you should visit. I think a big contributing factor to what makes an avatar may, feel like me is if it's something I was able to work on with Blender and Unity. If I just use a default Avi, I'm just the copy of many. Lun, Amethyst. I read your name as Lunar Amethyst. Lunar Amethyst says, good to know. I finally got the time to watch one of your streams live. I love your videos though. Thanks. Do you watch me on Instagram or chat? You just eat your hand. I was adjusting my eyes. So, where are you from? Well, Mr. Gianotti, I am from the Philippines. I have too little space on my device for custom skins. Not really. You can always replace your default skin with a custom one using just the same resolution and format, and you should still be within the bounds of whatever limitations you have. My Rusty with the 15 coins, thanks. Hmm. Oh my. Looks like I'll be taking a nap after stream. Change your plans. Yes, I'm Filipino, chat. I keep on telling that. If you go to my videos, there's actually an FAQ there, which pretty much tells you my nationality. Yeah. How do you get face tracking? It's simple. You find hardware that provides that feature. There you go. Hmm. Raya says your streams are so relaxing. There's people sitting, just watching, not interacting. That's how you know you're good. If I have more lurkers than chatters, then you're right. Maybe that's the hallmark of them just having a good time. Whole point of what I do, actually. Something you play in the background. Hear me talk occasionally. How much space does your avatar and all the stuff need for it to work, take up? Right now, I I'm still within the limits of VR chat, that's for sure. Or else I wouldn't be able to stream. Bosser says, I seen you avoiding naming the site before. Is there a reason? Some kind of rule? Remember, the streaming platforms you use monitor what you say word per word. And there are these things called shadow bans. What song is this? No, I'm not sure actually. It's called. Never mind. It like sorry, Andrew. Hmm. Hi there, Ace. Sin. You look so smug, it's contagious. Thanks, Coco. Firehawk, there's actually rules across streaming. As long as you don't show chat and whatnot and gifts on the other stream or the other platform, they don't cross into each other's territory, it's fine. As long as you broadcast only your feed, then you're cool. I read the TOS. No, because you mispronounced my name. What face tracking do you recommend? Well, that depends. Hardware or like the plugin. Get the Quest Pro. It's the most painless, easy to set up uh, headset that you can get. It's okay. No harm done. Soul Panther has a joke. 2 grains of sand went to the beach, to which one says, Damn, it's crowded today. Because there's millions of other grains of sand. I only have one avatar, Coco. I'm not the type to like swap things around. I find that weird unless I'm like doing it intentionally for a joke or I want to see like another avatar's features and look in the mirror. I hear an accent. Darling, everybody in the world has an accent. But to sate your curiosity, I am from the Philippines. Little island nation near the equator. I hope you enjoy the air. This is strange. Streaming one handed. Let's see. How much battery? 30%. What's your favorite song? You know, it changes as time goes on. But when I was younger, My favorite song, I wouldn't stop listening to it while I was commuting to like school, would be the one where you say like Numa Numa Ye. I know the title is Drago Stay Dinte by Ozone. If you know, you know. I think so. Yeah, in Indelible and Nocturnal. Correct, Andrew. Pardon, I have my the music playing obscured by my other overlays. Would you recommend the Philippines as a good holiday destination? For tourists, yes. Your money has very strong purchasing power here, especially the dollar. And come on, buddy, come back. Why, if it isn't Wish Dream, good morning. Hi there. Been a good week. Oh, this is a good beat to it. Save this. I need to thank the guy who made this playlist for me. Very good choices. I'll make it the point to send a message of gratitude later, at least before I retire to bed. Mm. And even more, especially my slightly more valuable pounds. That's true. A dollar here is, I believe, 55 pesos. A pound is 60. Is it late for you? It's early, Celine. It's 6:47 a.m. Do you even sleep? Of course. I'm a bit of a night owl. Firehawk, I follow the legal terminology. If somebody says they're underage, you're below 18. Raya says I live in Northern Ireland and it's always freezing, but people love to come here on holiday. I'll never understand it. Oh, what I would give to experience winter again. Stella says, I see why you've been on my feed for weeks. What would the reason be, Stella? Come on, tell me. Orphic Art says, hope you had healthy sleep, and that's why you're up so early, not because you didn't sleep. Don't worry, chat. If there's anything that I prioritize over anything else, that's sleep. Vesper can attest to that. If you remember Vesper, the black and white orange dragon companion I have. Man, this Wish Dream says I've just woken up, thinking of possibly starting to stream again today in VR chat style talk format like before. But this isn't my stream, this is yours. So anything interesting that's happened in the lovely so far? No, in all honesty, Wish, nothing really. It's just me. Just sitting by the campfire out here in the forest. Nothing interesting. Toasting up the beans. But yeah, if you're gonna stream, I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck. I know Wish Dream here has a more, how should I say this? Story, book, slash poetic tune to his content. Hi there, Reed. How are you? Wish Stream says, yeah, it's been almost 2 months since I've done a proper stream. Then go ahead, get your butt on the live, and I'm sure your followers miss you. Howdy. I might fall asleep in my chair soon. Your voice is just too relaxing. It's 1 a.m. Good night, Glitch. Close your eyes and fall into slumber. Sweet dreams. Isn't it voting day? Do you plan to vote today? Me, vote. Never have and never will. Are you Filipino, Gabas? Correct. Yes, welcome, Kiro. The con was fun. I see. Hope you made a lot of connections. Reen. Speaking of Filipino, I find it funny when our accent seems to be mistaken by German or for German. I I get that too every now and then. It's like, oh, are you Dutch? Are you Russian? I don't think we sound close to how they stress their words and intonations. I mean, don't get me wrong, beautiful accents they have. I thought you sounded Spanish when I first joined. Ah, fair. You can preach that somewhere else, Firehawk, if you want to stay on my streams. There's a reason I don't like discussing politics or any divisive topic. If you don't like the way I do things, Firehawk, you can always escort your butt out of my place. Nobody is gonna keep you here. Why, if it isn't Naheem, it's been a while. It's nice seeing a familiar name. I'm putting you in my pocket because the music is nice. Sure, you better have a big pocket then. which Spanish is most understandable. It is, after all, close to Filipino. At one point in time, it was the second main language in English. That's true. Buenos días. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, nueve. G's? G's. I think I got that wrong. Ocho, right? Ocho. Cinco, seis, ocho, nueve. Pardon. I was taught this in, I think, grade school or high school. It never really stuck to me. Makes me realize we borrow so many words from Spanish. Like when we're sick, we have a fever or flu, we call it trancazo. And then lo and behold, I find out they actually use the same term. Thank you, Electro. Man, nice and peaceful out here. Till you start imagining the terrors that could be lurking around the forest. Yeah, I'll be fine. If we have a conversation with Espanol, I think we'd understand it about 40 to 50% of the time. Yeah. I've already dropped the topic. Have you? I know that world. It's pretty. Right? That's nice. Cozy. Real time lighting from the campfire. Hi there, odd ranks. Are you a dragon or something? Correct. Not a true dragon. A pure blood, as most would call it. More of a smooth skin, really. I don't have the horns, I don't have the wings. And look at me with the big old fluffy tail. See? You know some French, Gebus? No, I don't actually. Would love to learn some words. Were you ever asked to voice act? A lot of times, a lot of times. Gebos, you should voice act. Gebos, you should voice act. Are you a voice actor? I always say no, I'm not. I don't understand how some people will say they're a VA, a voice actor, when you realize they don't even have a portfolio, a professional portfolio, or an official role in which they starred as. These self proclaimed voice actors just irks me. You're cringe, bro. So I'm not gonna call myself a voice actor unless I'm like actually like been used in content. I'm sad I'm just your average guy. Hero TV. Now that brings me back, Wish. Goodness me. It reminds me of the era of those big old analog TVs with terrible reception. Not everybody could afford cable back then. Oh, Anubis, I'm not a Nova Beast anymore. I'm more of a chimera. I'm a mix of things. A little bit of both, Andy. Ryo says, I voice in a passion project for someone, and now my friends call me voice actor as a nickname. Ah. I prefer the latter. I really do. I do realize that our analog TV was quite varied. RPN 9, AXN, what else? Good old days. GMA, ABS-CBN, Quest Pro, Roaching. I would call the style of music that you're playing jazz noir, the one that you do while doing shady deals. Like so, that you bring the product. The money is waiting here with your name on it. You know, the transaction or not. Is it expensive to go live on VR chat? Technically, no, because you don't pay anything to go live on TikTok. Wish Dream says ABS CBN GMA TV5, Nat Geo, the several radio stations, Hero TV Now TV, and the incredible amount of Christian TV program. Oh, I remember that. Like the Angelus thing during lunchtime. There was also Mix and that weird channel in which it was like a chat room and then you would text your messages in on it and it would show up. Are you attending for reality Somna? Asked Sleepy Electro. And if so, do you have an outfit planned out? I'm attending. Do I have an outfit planned out? I'll probably just retexture whatever I'm wearing, add some fancy gold constellations and whatnot. Maybe some stars, a moon. What was it that you're attending again? Reality Somna. It's the online convention thing happening this June. Can't wait to run into you. I guess I'll see you there. If ever you see me chat in Somna, don't hesitate to say hello. Don't be shy. I'll probably attend the TikTok meet, whatever value that has. Because I don't talk to any other TikTok creators in all honesty. Aside from my actual friends like Mystic. I believe that one was the Now TV. It was interesting, wasn't it? I'll have to have my VR controller fixed by then. You know, funny, Reed. Look at my right hand. It's. Oh, wow. It's busted. Quest Pro. I probably have to reset the headset to get it working again. That's why I'm zoomed in so much because my right hand ain't working. I can just open it. Ironic. Walking home. Alright. I'll go I'll probably end stream by the time you get home and you get a shower. Wish Dream continues. For reality is the sole reason I was gone for 2 months. It would be the first time I would be having the booth and the last time I'm having a panel for now. For now. It was supposed to be last year, but I cannot ignore that Somna is the direct team to my. That's true. It would be befitting. Wish. Dream. Yeah. You know, I wonder when they're gonna do like a noir sort of deal. Maybe next year's Virality. Virality Legends doesn't really count, I think. It was like in the golden age of superheroes, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. I really wish I could have attended Virality Aqua though. Oh, looking at the symbols, the runes of that place. It just felt like home. Really like your noir theme, Gab. It's not real classic noir. I just like the whole vibe of it. Think of it as like Bioshock noir. That sort of deal. Fantasy noir. Not techno noir. Wish Dream says a chimera of a dragon. Quite funny. I've considered to become a villain. Ah, very Eastern or some kind of midnight dragon of dreams and shadows. Look at me. I'm an agent that investigates anomalous things for a particular agency, and me running into things in the field often has ill intended effects to me, like giving me hair and other things. Yes, that's the official reason, at least. Wishes a noir as a vibe for virality would be fantastic. I'd see myself as a reporter. Ah, yes, you'd have the hat with like the card or the paper like wedged in. Have my little notepad. So you say you met the guy over at the bar at 9 p.m. last night, huh? I see, I see. Very interesting, Mr. Porter. All right. And then you like report to the press. The local mob is after you because yeah, they hate the press. You're part of the SCP. No, not that foundation. I'm not part of the SCP Foundation. I'm not part of the GOC. Not part of the Serpent's Hand. No, it's something else. I wonder what. What's this? Have you ever been able to go to the Ferality Gateway during FY? FWA? No, actually, no, I haven't. Isn't it running right now? I wish I could reveal the details, Nem, but hey, you know how the higher ups are. What song am I at right now? Hmm. My oh my, Orphic Art giving the GGs. Thank you. Go back in, shall we? Come on, controller, work with me. I wonder if it would be a good idea to take after you when you end today. Not quite sure if I'd be fast enough to prepare. I'm curious. How does the portal work? What shield settings does it use? Do you have to have an optimized avatar in order to be displayed properly? Or am I just simply gonna appear as a fallback given that I'm very poor in rating? I do want to visit as long as I get my broken little hand over here fixed. The Quest Pro controllers are very finicky. Like, right now, it doesn't open. Mm-mm. Oh, thanks, Reed. Oh, why, if it isn't Ilishka, hi there. I think some abbeys would be seen as fallback. Ah, I see. Like, I'll be having my medium version out instead. Oh, terrible lighting though. This one is 20. Is it your birthday? I remember in the gateway I had to have a medium version myself there. Ah, I see. Ah, well, happy birthday, Elishka. Another year. You made it. You should be proud of yourself. Shit. Same as the protojet. No. Ah, 20 years, huh? Pick your side in the Elishka. No funds, no prizes. Just the sweet satisfaction of getting the side of the coin you picked. Reed says, tell your mother. Reed says, Happy Mother's Day. I don't think that's gonna happen, Reed. My mother thinks I'm dead. To her eyes, at least. Heads. Alright. That means love, Ilishka. I have a new coin. Alright. Birthday flip for you. What do you know? Congratulations on winning. It landed on hearts. Yeah, boss. What do you think of my persona current Abby story? Where do I see this? Alright. Or you all scroll up. Mine is a space cat, says Glitch. There's a cat traveling through space that had a strange encounter with an eldritch entity that changed it. Ah, okay. Yep. Okay. Oh, close. Go ahead. Gamble it all. Buy those keys, Exodus. You have advice on streaming on TikTok. Well, as much as possible, make sure you also look good in frame while in portrait mode. Wow. Landscape mode is a big no no on TikTok because 99% of your viewers are gonna be on your phone. So, what I do is I enable the grid option on my VR chat camera. So, at least I know how I look on TikTok. That's why all of my pins have me at least in frame whenever I swap between them. See? Hmm? Oh, yeah. In short, stream in portrait mode. I have a cat to bargain with. As a person named Spaghetti Sauce. I don't know why that's intriguing. A cat to bargain with, huh? Okay. Did you know, Glitch? That's also Vesper's team. She's supposed to be like a cosmic dragon of some sorts. I call her a star dragon. She's supposed to be like star matter that's gone sentient or something. And she's just taken up her form that she has now. She has the whole black hole motif too, a singularity on her back, often obscured by her hair. Long, red. And I make my own AV model. Ah, yes. That makes sense, says Wish. That's interesting. I think you've seen. My angles are often 3/4, so that's going to be interesting to work out. Yeah. Me, I just like doing the whole, oh, it's a cutscene from a game thing. Karma says, I've never seen the tail on your avatar. I didn't expect it to be so fluffy. It is. Now you know, Chad. Vesper said, Driver says, Vesper said she was wandering on space and landed on a deserted planet last time she was on stream. Ah, you have sharp ears. Yes, that's true. That's true. I met her when she was still in her early days, that's for sure. Yeah, that crummy old coat she had. Where'd she even pick that up? Looked like crap. The game loading screen. Yeah, very spot on. Very spot on. Vesper says, more of a fell from it, in a sense, and forcefully adapted to the environment around me. It wasn't perfect until Geb helped me out. Ah, yes. What was the term I used? Soul smithing. Just wanted to make it sound fancy. Also, the reason and why, if you check her backhand, my arrow is also there. Orphix asking, what's your favorite VR chat world or your favorite noir inspired world? Noir inspired world. Probably Principal Wells' office. That's the world I stream in often. Do you like men in a romantic sense? No. I'm straight, chat. Nice long legged ladies for me, Esper says. Oh no, sorry. Rio's asking, have you played any sports yet? For a short while, I had to stint with soccer until my mother decided that, yeah, it's not for you because you're too tall, Geb. Soccer players should be short and nimble. I didn't quite understand what she meant back then. Maybe she just didn't want to buy me those fancy soccer shoes I kept on looking at whenever I go home from school. It was displayed in this window. Ah, how cool it is to have shoes with spikes on them, I thought. I loved being a goalkeeper when I played soccer. Diving into the mud, blocking balls. Wow, that sounds bad. Blocking balls, yeah. Blocking shots there. Has higher education ever been on your mind? Been something considered? You mean like a master's degree? Not really. Funny, I am an art student. I studied animation in college. Ironically, the lessons that they taught there, I have not really carried over anything. Most of the knowledge I've gained and used is from YouTube videos. See you around, Raya. Enjoy your time with her. You play the game Fallen Aces. Mm-mm. No, I'm good, me. How do you sleep if you're bioluminescent? Well, as they've said, like Klaus's, I act as my own nightline. No more. When I close my eyes, I can't see anything. University. I see. Good luck with zoology. Hmm. Well, would you look at the time? It's 2 hours and 6 minutes. I have to go soon, chat. Unfortunately. Well, if anything, I hope you have a fantastic birthday, Lishka. Always know that there's at least one star. Yeah, one star out there that shines brightly for you. It has indeed been 2 hours. Wow, my tongue is starting to slip. I guess I'm tired. Either that or I'm really parched and I need to drink. It's time to consume some iced tea. Ah, it's been hot lately, says Wishdream. Glad it rained this morning. That's true. I remember a few days ago it was raining hard. And much to my surprise, my AC was actually too cold. Oh, I wasn't here when the stream started. What a refunding gift. I got double charged by my bank and I have no idea when I'm gonna get my money back. Also, my drawing display, my display tablet broke. That's like a 600 something dollar thing, which is what my bank double charged me for because I bought a replacement. I have my right controller is broken, as you can see. Look at this, chat. I'm moving my hands, but I'm moving up at the same time. Nope, it only wobbles in place. And among other various expenses. So I'm doing what we call a soft sponsor. I'm not gonna go ask for money, but I'm just going to indicate what my goal is. On TikTok, at least. I have to keep it clean for Twitch because I swore that I will always keep it cinematic and uncluttered here. Yeah, it's a bit expensive, guys. That's the funniest way somebody's asked to stay on my stream. Glitch says, please let me neglect my sleep schedule a little longer. You do you. No need to redeem the hydrate. Wish says, goodness, I do hope you get at least a refund for the double charge. I know it's 35K, Wish. It's the goddamn XP Pen 22 Artist Pro Gen 2 thing that I stupid Shopee. I already escalated the case and oh, we can't deal with it because it's a holiday tomorrow. It's elections. And also I bought 4 base stations, Valve Index controllers, and yeah, to potentially fix this failing controller problem of mine. Expensive. Yeah, the big one. I used to use a Huayon Canvas Artist 22 Plus. I think it's a 2022 edition. So it's 3 years old. Yeah, man. Where are you from? The Philippines. Why if it isn't Mystic? Hi there. Nice to see you. Hold on, chat. Oh, there we go. That's the Exodus that I know. The Exodus, the Vesper friend. How you doing? Mystic, look. My right controller is busted again. It's not moving. It's just jiggling ever so slightly. It's bad. Oh my goodness. It's not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's over TikTok, best. Shit. That's why I have my camera zoomed in so much. So you won't notice my defective right hand. Ah, damn. Oh, hi there, boss. I use the Quest Pro. As you can see. See. It's unexciting with just one hand, I know. Of course, Karma. If you go to my Discord, I actually have a small write up with a bunch of pictures there. But I like to keep things simple, nothing exaggerated, really. I have to bandage that hand up. You know when you fall asleep on your arm mystic? That's kind of what happened to it. Go ahead. Speaking of Quest process wish, I need to finish my DIY face tracking. Ah, so somebody's gonna make a Babel tracker. I've seen what the Babel tracker can do. The good stuff. Very good stuff. An eye track. Wow. Ah, yep, yep. What do you detect being a detective? Idiots in my chatters. Says I actually started to get into doing a known avatar. Will be something I gotta try again. Go ahead. It's actually a very fulfilling endeavor. It's definitely tedious, but fulfilling all the same. My zoomy zooms. Welcome to today's generation. I know, right? Funny enough, at least 90% of my chatters on, well, on Twitch are actually decent people. Unlike you know where, which says I went with the DIY route since if I want to change headsets, it allows me to work with what I have. Do you have a 3D printer per chance? I've been eyeing the Bamboo A1 Mini. Really have. My guy is collecting happy birthdays like Pokemon cards. Oh, Ilishka, she just gets happy really easily. So extend your birthday greetings to her if you wish. She's in her 20s now. Huh. Bamboo. I have the A1 combo. Should I get the A1 mini or just the A1 standard if given a chance? I'm worried about the noise because I live in a studio type apartment. It's yeah. What if I'm printing something like long and I have to sleep? Probably just gonna get the A1 mini. Quietest one. Nah, it's okay, Lishka. You're good. I have a harpsichord in my first studio apartment. That's a musical instrument though, right? What's this? Wish says yes. I've gotten one before the Bamboo A1 was a thing. Oh, the Ender. I was also looking at the Ender V3, like 3S, was it? But you know what? I'm just gonna get Bamboo. Bamboo just looks so nice and sleek. But only after my bank resolves my damn financial problems. I still need to get my 700 bucks back. The Bamboo is very quiet. All you hear is the fan. I have the Ender K1. Oh, we have a lot of 3D printer enthusiasts here. I I plan on printing really with nothing but like PETG stuff. Maybe PLA. No, PLA won't do good for like headset or computer stuff because of the low temperature thing. Hmm. I've just recently watched a few videos as an introduction to 3D printing, so I'm completely new to it. PLA Plus. Hmm. Do we even have that as a filament choice? Mystic, are you here? PETG is really good with heat. The thing is, I use PETG for my slime trackers. You know what to do, Mystic. I bet you're gonna enjoy. Thank you. Hi, Carbon. So yeah, for example, amount for no, my slime trackers are using a PETG from the guy I got it from, and it's pretty good. Rigid enough, flexible, definitely, without having to fear it snapping. Hmm, not broken me yet. I see. How much do you get per spool, Wish? On average, I see them being sold for like 700 pesos. That translates to like $14 per 1 kilogram of filament. Carbon fiber. Wow. Okay, last question. If I get the Bamboo A1 Mini, should I get the AMS system as well? The AMS Lite? Yeah, 100% I should. Oh man, but it adds so much bulk though. It looks like a damn film projector with the ribbon reels. It would be a good idea. Oh shoot, fine. Right? It looks like the old school film projector is. Print the top mount for it. Right. Then again, multicolor printing produces a lot of waste filament, though, right? Like it poops out, as they call it. One will. Okay, if for example, I have the AMS light, would I even really need it? Like, what would be the four spools I'd use? I use the eSun PLA Plus. It runs me around 700. Ah, okay. The person to ask is Waranto. He got that. Oh, Waranto, the blue and white Nova. Oh, yes, the Carbon X1. Nah, way too big. Hmm. Let's, I'll start with the A. All I'm gonna be doing is like little mounts and knickknacks anyway. A1 Max and Solvol Index. Why do you have so many 3D printers, Griffin? Is this? How many songs is in this playlist? Let me check. Oh, they're really long. There we go. Sorry about that. It's got to set up like an assembly line. It auto loads another plate. It's good enough for my purposes. Like if I make a fursuit mask, it's going to be covered by fur anyway. That's true. If I get the A1, I would get 220 something millimeters as my printing bed space. If it's the A1 mini, I'm limited to was it an 18 centimeter cube? Mhm. A lot of retired military people come to me for certain items. I see. Seems like you have a lucrative business going on. I'm happy for you. Base, huh? Now that I think about it, there's no real reason I should go with the smaller one, the A1 Mini. I'm really just concerned about the noise. But then again, the same heads are used for the A1 and the A1 Mini, right? Why would the other one be noisier? Yeah, it's the noise. That's why I was considering just getting the A1 Mini instead. I've watched videos of it. It's amazingly quiet. As long as the fans don't go 100%, that is. Oh my, we have a raid from. How do I read your name? Lice? I'll call you Lice. There we go. Oh god, that's terrible. Lie, there we go, lie. Hello, Lion Rainers. Welcome to my stream. My right hand is currently borked, so you gotta deal with my left one alone. Did you guys have a good time in the stream? Oh, are you guys Filipino? Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Larger area means longer noise. Oh, for the bzz, bzz. Right, it's a bed flinger, right? That's what they call it. Guapo. I assume you guys are Filipino, given the language you're using. Uh, Pardon my mistake. Not perfect. Lysec, there we go. Okay, Lysec. New record, 105. Actually, the most viewers I've ever had, thanks to a raid, was like 400 something. It was Corgi Cam. I was like, I had like 20 followers back then. Corgi Cam is the guy I have to thank for bringing me up to affiliate. But yeah. Yeah, sure, of course, Ilishka. Corgi Cam, they're sweet. Oh, so short. Corgi Cam's nice. I bet he's a very busy person along with his wife, if I'm not mistaken correctly. If I'm not mistaken. Uh, hmm. Funny, we haven't really been able to talk ever since the rain. Would be nice to get some insight from a veteran streamer like him. I know he's been doing it for more than 5 years, right? I've been streaming 1 year. What do I know? Lysek says I've been lurking around here and there in your stream. I wanna say I love the vibe in the model white. Thank you. Well, color me curious. What were you up to prior to raiding? Were you playing a game? Kendall says I know he had some problems with his, but it got it running after a long, complicated replacement. I just finished up a commission drawing. My goodness. Color me curious. Let's see. Let's see Lysek's art. There. Let's go to good old Twitch. Oh, you're using what's the name of this avatar? Don't jinx its avatar. That's cute. Have a look. Wait a moment. Wasn't I looking at your stream the other day? Hold on. Ah, wow. Look at the drawing. That's red flower. The boy show. Oh, okay. Yep, you can clearly see the I see what's the main focus here. Oh dear. All right. In the title is 18 plus but wrong play. Oh dear, I'm gonna close that now. I was looking at your past stream. You were drawing like a character that was leaning by a tree, I believe. But yeah, you oil them often to reduce noise in the bamboo. Well, I love working with motorcycles and I always over lubricate everything. So I think, me and the bamboo will be friends. So yeah, Griffin, what do you suggest? For a small studio type apartment, should I get the A1 or the A1 Mini? Apparently, I have to get the AMS Lite now, but it's now a matter of which printer. Am I even gonna need one that prints that large? It's just for me and the little knickknacks at my home anyway. I watch Corgi Cam, but he's short. I recommend you get the A1 standard. Hmm. Place it on top of my microwave. Maybe. Hmm? Why if it isn't Sparkles the Scotsman? Hi there. How are you doing today? In absolute. I'm doing okay. I think you're having a good time with your blue car, aren't you? Too squared to say it. Wow. Background drawing is my weak point. Me too, Lysek. Me too. My goodness, it was my most loaded art subject in school. Oh, BGDES is what it was called. Background design. And we had to sketch it with pencils. We had to get the perspectives right. Oh, I oh man, I have such a hard time getting 2 point perspective correct. Toda Fabia Monte Carlo edition. Wow, maybe one day I can afford a car too. Wonder what car I'm gonna get. You know, chat, we just hit the 2 hours and 30 mark. Yep, it's that time, chat. I'm curious. Let's have a look at the verified channel. Marique was having a hard time with the password. Chat, let me tell you. Type it italicized there. Okay? If you know the password, type it italicized. If you're still listening. One bird cannot pan but two. I think it's about time I go make my departure, chat. Me having a broken controller is not doing me any favors to stream. Right? Hold on. No. Good luck with the controller. I know. I'll figure something out. Oh, worst case scenario, I stream again in like end of the month. See. Oh, speaking of Corgi Cam, they're online with 454 view. Oh my goodness. How does he handle that much? Thought that was a stream for a moment. You know what? I need to see. I need to see who's streaming. Come on. Okay. Ooh, no, 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 no. Let's see. A bunch of guys with cactus. Why is that my thumbnail? That's my thumbnail from the other day stream. Come on, Twitch, update that. Uh, Late night VR and chill. Oh my, is she a bartender with request songs? There's not much VR chat streamers today. Hmm. Well, not much. I don't know any of them to be frank. Embers are Drago. Nope, it did. Nope, nope. What even is that? Sabaton. Oh my god. Reminder that your voice is incredibly soothing. Thank you, Guy Umbra. All right, okay. Yep, we're not reading. Not for me. What's this? Gabos, my car is a disability car. I pay 1,000 euros and I get the car for 3 years. And after 3 years, I'll be able to buy the car from Motability. Make sure you don't crash between now and then. I could start right now, technically. Start what, Wish? Did I miss? Did I miss a lot of controllers? Come on. Do you want me to transfer my viewers to you? Go ahead, Wish. Kapal ng mukha ang puta. I'm just joking. Go ahead. Sure. Sure, Wish. That's funny. That made me laugh. I'll try my best not to crash it, says Sparkles. Mhm. Pinay? Anong Pinay? Gago. Tunog babae ba ako? It's that time of the morning, chat, where a lot of my fellow Filipinos are starting to wake up. That means I should be ending my stream. Chat, everybody, look, if Wish is unable to get into stream within the next 30 seconds, hey, go give him a follow instead. I met him last year during Virality. He was flaunting his hyper optimization skills. Yes, I remember that. The whole 2D stuff that looked 3D. But yeah, they're a fantastic streamer. Always has a lore spin to their characters, which I read on Twitter. And what else? Praise here, praise there. So, Wishstream is asking for me to transfer you guys there. So, if you like Wish, give him a follow. If you don't, remember, you can always mass report his account for scamming you with good content, okay? Okay. Mm-hmm. The power is in your hands, Chan. Sparkle says, I hope you have a lovely, fantastic, amazing day. Oh, you too, Sparkles. See you around, Firehawk. Karen Nos and everybody else. Froggy with the witchy vibes. Normally, isn't it the frogs who curse? No, the witches who curse people to be frogs. Wish, come on, start your thing so I can raid. Can I even type with my broken keyboard? Come on, controller, work. No, it doesn't work. That's bad. There we go. Alrighty. So slash. Alright, chat. With that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Catch you again day after tomorrow. Actually, I might record, so maybe day after tomorrow. Bye. Kadiri na yung TikTok eh. Kadiri na talaga. Yo. I cannot. The P noise. Hi there, Foxotic. Ah, yes. Anywho, that we're gonna go. Okay, so let's grace my Let's grace my friend's stream with your company. Again, they're scamming you, you know what to do, okay? Like they asked me to like bring you there. You have every right to go throw toilet paper over his house. Good night, Chan. It's been fun. Pardon my hand malfunction, but I'll try and solve it next time, okay? Bye. There we go. Yes, orange. Cam alert. What the? What is that?